Here we. As much as it pains me to get rid of that little beautiful synth, but I just had to go. I had to, because it's late as fuck. It's time to start the show. Can you hear the fan? I can. Well, hello and welcome to this Tuesday's Movie News. I am John Walsh, here to speak about some... Who would have guessed it? Movie News, that's why it's called Movie News. And the headline, not fucking around, right into it, is all about No Way Home, my favourite topic in the whole wide world. We primarily speak about movie news and we do reviews and lots of other stuff on here. And within that sort of sub-genre of movie news, I love nothing more than speaking about Spider-Man No Way Home. Been doing it for fucking months on end now. And I simply can't wait till this movie comes out, but I'm conflicted, because I also want to keep speaking about the movie, so when it comes out, I can't speak about it any longer, unless I review it, which we will be doing. And as you can see, I've still left Stephen's camera on, because I'm a fucking goon. I'm back. That's not what I'm speaking about, that's one of the other topics. It's this, right here, giving the game away tonight, early doors. That's one of the other topics I'll be speaking about on the show tonight. It's all about the runtime. They are teasing the runtime, and they are suggesting it could be a Marvel epic. As I did say down there, No Way Home's runtime, has it been revealed? Well, it may just have been, because it's from a source that has been right before. And as you can see here, it's coming in from MovieWeb. A reported runtime for Spider-Man No Way Home would leave plenty of time for all the multiverse madness. Now, I usually stay away from these kind of things, because I don't like to know the runtime of a movie. Because when you're in the theatre and you realise you've been in about an hour and a half and something epic happens, and you think to yourself, oh, I've still got another hour to go, I've still got another hour and a half to go, I've still got half an hour to go, it ruins the immersion. It takes you out of the moment. You're like, fuck, this ain't the end, there's something happening. I like to go in blind. But as I says, I'm going to repeat myself. I just love this movie. I love speaking about this movie. And there is no other movie news out there that's worth headlining a movie news show about, so I went with this. And I've got another little thing I'm going to dissect as well regarding this movie as an aside to this topic. As you can see here, Spider-Man No Way Home should have plenty of time for all the villainous variants and multiple Spider-Men. Yeah, it does say men. Should the latest reports on the movie's runtime be accurate, according to the recent listing for Spider-Man No Way Home, Peter Parker will be battling the likes of Doc Ock and Green Goblin and Electro and Sandman and some fucking lizard character for 150 minutes. That's 2.5 hours for those who don't do minutes, who do hours. That's 2.5 hours. Giving the Marvel hero plenty of time to put things right again for after unleashing the madness of the multiverse. Well, he didn't unleash it. It was Dr. Stephen Strange. Peter Parker just asked for his help. He didn't bend him over and say, "Bitch, you're going to help me." He chose to do it of his own free will. And that's another aside to this movie that's very intriguing indeed, is that Doctor Strange as we know him. It's live, Jim, but not as we know it. Is that strange? As we know it, we'll find out shortly. The listing comes courtesy of Cineworld, a pretty fucking reliable source, a huge theatrical company over here, a theatre company I should say, probably the biggest alongside Odeon. And when they put something in, it's because of a direct liaising conversations with the studio, and they put it in their actual listing. It's an hour and 150 minutes. So look, I'm just going to come away from this. I don't really give a fuck about the rest of this stuff. As they say, it's oddly specific if it isn't the right running time. Says before, I'm not really a fan of divulging the running time to the audiences, to the greater entertainment world, because it ruins the immersion. But to be honest with you, I think there's going to be so much going on in this movie that I don't think the running time is going to be something that's cropping into your mind watching it. I think this will be an epic for the ages. I think it will be one of the greatest Marvel Cinematic Universe movies anyone will have ever had the fortune to cast their eyes upon. We know right off the bat that the first proper movie, well, Black Widow was part of Phase 4 as well, and it was a decent movie, but we know for a fact the first sort of proper Phase 4 movie, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, getting unbelievable reviews, man. People are wetting themselves over this movie, comparing it to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, lots of East meets West stuff. Apparently a stunning movie. And then of course next in line is Eternals, and it's Chloe Zhao, current Best Director, Best Picture winner. So an incredible director with an incredible vision for that movie. I enjoyed the movie. Stephen didn't get as much out of it as I did, but I enjoyed it. And now she's doing a Marvel movie, so that's going to be special as well. And the whole stuff surrounding the Eternals, the Deviants, 7,000 years of story, an origin story, lots of big existential questions going to be getting dabbled in that with the sort of trademark stylistic flourish of a Chloe Zhao. Why am I getting at this? Well, it's the first two proper movies of Phase 4 seem to be fucking excellent. And then the next one is No Way Home. So I've got high hopes that it's going to be an excellent movie, packed to the fucking rafters, with amazing action, with compelling stories, with maturing of Tom Holland's Peter Parker. And then at that point the runtime becomes irrelevant, because you're just completely immersed, enveloped in the world that Sam Raimi has crafted. It's not Sam Raimi, he does Multiverse of Madness. Whoever the fuck has directed this movie has crafted. It's because there's so much Sam Raimi goodiness in this from his original Spider-Man movies. The likes of William Dafoe in there, Alfred Molina, J.K. Simmons. There's a lot of fucking Sam Raimi goodness in there. His touch, indelible touch, is most definitely there on this movie. But look, man, I found it intriguing. It's the running time, 150 minutes. I don't actually know how that stacks up to other Marvel releases in terms of the length of the movie, the duration. I know for a fact that Endgame was knocking on 3 hours. I think Infinity War was up there as well, 2 hours 40 minutes or something. So it's certainly not the longest Marvel movie we've seen to date, but I think it's ripe. It's an ample running time for what they have to do in this movie. It can't be a short 2 hour experience. There's a lot getting done here. They're dabbling multiverse stuff. It's going to continue into Multiverse of Madness. There's a lot of stuff with characters. You need to give them ample screen time to make them pop. You don't want to be doing what these Sony movies done in Spider-Man 3 and obviously Amazing Spider-Man 2, bringing in multiple villains and not doing them justice and not having them an enriching experience. You want them to handle the villains right. It's a Sinister Six movie, potentially. You want them to handle multiple Peter Parker Spider-Man characters right. 150 minutes is perfect for me for that. So I cannot wait for this fucking movie. But there is people out there who I presume can wait for the movie. And this person in particular is coming in from Cinema Blend, I do believe. And it's a Rich Knight. Once again, keeping up that long-standing thing with critiques with journalists for these movie. Wait, there's a word for it. I always fucking forget the word. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Sort of movie websites where they have ridiculous names. Rich Knight. That's fucking crazy, that name. Crazy to me. Rich Knight. That's got to be fake. But what digresses is what he's saying 5 reasons why he was less excited for Spider-Man No Way Home after seeing the new trailer. I think he's the only person in the entire universe who's seen this trailer who has actually come out underwhelmed and less excited for the movie. Because I watched the trailer, I thought, this is fucking unreal. We've got Dr. Stephen Strange in here doing some crazy shit. Is it really him? We've got Doc Ock back, it's Alfred Molina, hey Peter. We've got Green Goblin in there, we've got little snippets of Electro, we've got Sandman, blinking you'll miss it Easter eggs. And there's so much more still to be revealed. I thought it was an incredible trailer, and potentially only the first 25 minutes of the movie being revealed here. Potentially. But this guy's come out the opposite end, so he's gave us 5 reasons. I was speaking about the movie anyway. I read this article, I thought, fuck it, we'll dissect it, we'll look at this as well as a little aside to the headline, and get into this guy here, because I actually says I was going to speak about him again. Well, I did speak about him. I'm thinking more about Doctor Strange than I am of Spider-Man, since Strange was acting so weird. He really was acting weird. He was. This little wink. I mean, he's been becoming less stuffy progressively as the movies have been coming out. When we first seen him, he was this arrogant, self-absorbed neurosurgeon. And quite rightly self-absorbed. He was a great man with great ability, saving lives. He was like God himself. He was choosing whether people lived or died. And of course, he went on a journey in that movie. And the journey continued. He was starting to crack jokes and stuff like that in Infinity War and in Endgame and things like that. This is a natural progression for the character, and it may be that he actually is just real Stephen Strange and he's just a little bit, looser. Because he's won the war against Thanos. He's let his guard down, in a sense. There's no existential universal battle happening. It may be that he's in slacks. He's wearing the hoodie. It's a cool, sort of snowy vista inside this emporium. Maybe it's the same fucking one. I personally think there's something going on though. It's a multiverse story. We've already had it established that J. Jonah Jameson is in that universe. It's a different version of the same character we loved from the original early 2000s movies. We've already established multiverse. This guy's acting weird. I think he is potentially a variant of Stephen Strange. But in terms of what the concept is, I'm thinking more about Strange. I wasn't really thinking more about Stephen Strange in that trailer than I was about Spider-Man. I was thinking about a multitude of things from that trailer. Stephen Strange was a big part of the trailer. But Peter Parker, Doc Ock, Green Goblin, all of the shit going on, the action, this concept of him getting away from life, getting away from the pressures of everyone knowing who he is, and then thrusting right into it and having to save the day and become Spider-Man proper. That was something I enjoyed. This evolution of the character, which was there in so many ways, but that was a fucking amazing moment. One of the greatest moments in the trailer. Fuck, we put it in the thumbnail for our reaction. So yeah, I can get it, but I slightly disagree. It looks more like a Doctor Strange movie than Spider-Man movie. No, it doesn't. No, it fucking doesn't. That's a nonsense, Rich Knight, that you have just spoken from your mouth. It doesn't look like a Doctor Strange movie at all. It's a Spider-Man movie with the Sinister Six, your traditional Spider-Man foes, villains. It doesn't look like a Strange movie at all. That's a fucking nonsense. Spider-Man still seems like he's learning the ropes and this is his third film. Well, yeah, I mean, he's still a school kid. And I think this is the movie where he will reach maturity. The events of this movie will shake him up, change him irrevocably, and he will become a different Peter Parker by the end of this movie. But within this movie, still the same guy. Because the last time we met him, he was that guy. He's changing slowly. He's lost his mentor. He's having to mature. This movie will mature him. Not an issue for me. Big, important reason why I think we need 2 Spider-Man characters in there to mentor this guy and show him the ropes and make him a fully formed Spider-Man that we love from the previous movies. Not an issue for me. But as for him, what the fuck is this? We've got Electro there. It's Jamie Foxx. There was no Electro, so I'm only getting a sense of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man rather than the Mark Webb Spider-Man. I'm only getting a sense of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, I should say, rather than the Mark Webb Spider-Man. Well, he wasn't there. He wasn't there in physical silhouette form, but there was electricity there. You could see lightning bolts, and there was sand. So we're getting this combination potentially of the Sam Raimi and the Mark Webb. Again, you're wrong. He was definitely there. There was hints of him, and we know he's going to be in the movie. So why are you giving a fuck about that in the trailer? You don't have to have everything spoiled for you in a 2-minute, 2.5 minute, 3-minute trailer. That'd be stupid. You need to leave some big moments for the actual movie. And Jamie Foxx is a big actor. He's a big presence, a big personality. I want him to do his best in the actual movie, not in a fucking theatre. Or in a trailer, sorry. That'd be a waste. The action didn't look at all that interesting. Fucking nonsense, I'm sorry. The action looked brilliant to me. Again, you're condensing it into a short 2-3 minute trailer. You don't want to give away lots of the action, because I says fundamentally I believe this movie will be a movie of 2/3 and 1/3. The first third being the first 45 minutes of the movie, being fixated on Peter Parker and this horrible predicament that he finds himself in. He is being outed. His persona as the friendly neighbourhood superhero has been outed, and now he's got sort of judgmental eyes cast upon him. He's got people for him, he's got people against him. The posthumous effects, ripple effects of Mysterio from No Way Home will be found, and it's very much still alive in that first 45 minutes. I think it will be more about Peter Parker, where he is mentally, connecting with his friends with MJ, and then we'll get thrust into a high octane action movie, moving into the final 2/3, and it'll be the Sinister Six. It'll be all of these fucking Spider-Man characters, crazy shit going on. Don't want to give it all away, man, because then you'll see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire potentially, so I'll let them away with it. But I still enjoyed the action. I thought, I mean, it's not meant, you're not seeing the action, man. You're trying to get a sense of what's going on here, where Peter is, and just a little hint at some of the goodiness that's coming out in terms of villains and things like that. So I think this guy's been harsh as fuck. That's what I'm saying. I thought it was a great trailer, one of the best trailers I've seen, and it's effectively built anticipation for this movie coming out in December. I cannot wait for it. But we're moving on to the next topic, man. It's Elijah Wood. It's staying in that theme of the MCU, but injecting some Star Wars into it as well. I seen this yesterday. I was toying with the idea of sending this to Stephen and potentially putting it in the show yesterday, but I think instead I picked, I'm trying to remember what I picked now. I fucking forget shows day in, day out, man. We picked something else anyway. I can't actually recall what it was. It'll come to me. Doesn't matter. I'm not speaking about it just now. I'm speaking about this. Needless to say, I'm speaking about this now because I decided to put it in my show tonight. And as you can see here, it's Elijah Wood speaking about potential future appearances in two massive cinematic franchises, that being Star Wars and Marvel. And he's speaking about his preference, and he's speaking about his admiration for these movies, which is nice to hear, because most times you see an actor coming out and they're doing primarily independent stuff after a huge defining career performance in a huge movie. They try to get all artsy and snobbish and say things like it's ruining cinema and this and that, and it's we need more rom-coms with Meg Ryan. This guy's not doing this, and that's why he's the coolest fucking guy in the whole of Hollywood or Australia, wherever the fuck. Where's he from, man, incidentally? I always fuck it up. Elijah's from New Zealand, isn't he? I think he is. He's the coolest fucking guy anyway. I watched his Hot Ones recently. He's a cool guy. Even the way he dresses, he's just immaculate, man. Immaculate. But this is what he's had to say about potential future appearances in one of these franchises, or perhaps both, because he's a young man and there's lots of time to run in those franchises. I haven't had a chance to play in a giant sandbox in a while, but he played one of the best, Elijah. Star Wars gets president, because I'm a huge Star Wars fan, much like me, Elijah. So more of that, certainly in the live action sphere, would be awesome. But working on a Marvel film, I mean, there's obviously a whole conversation that happens, certainly in film, Twitter, about sort of the cinematic relevance of Marvel. Is it cinema? All of this sort of shit. And whether you like superhero movies or not, they are inherently fun. And I think getting to play again in that universe's sandbox would be a blast. It'll be totally awesome, because it is such an insane scale. He says again, has he ever fucking been in Elijah Wood? He's got me thinking now. Has he ever been in a superhero movie? Is he getting himself mixed up with Tobey Maguire now, as well as Daniel Radcliffe? Has Elijah ever been? Hold on a second. Has he been in a Marvel movie, man? Has he? Has he been in a Marvel movie? He says again there. I don't know. I don't recall him being in a Marvel movie. No, I think he has. He's talking nonsense here. Maybe he's been maybe he's talking about playing in a sandbox, huge sort of franchise sandbox again, like he did with Lord of the Rings. But look, man, he's a cool fucking guy. He's a great actor. He's been doing a lot of independent stuff and quirky stuff recently, and I love it. I love seeing the actors going off and doing that shit. We've seen Nick Cage doing it after he'd established himself as A tremendous actor, albeit a sort of Marmite actor. People forget how good Nick Cage was in the 90s and the late 80s. He was a fucking tremendous actor. He was an Oscar-winning actor. And he's been off and he's allowed that freedom now to do it compels him and what he enjoys. And we've seen it with Robert Pattinson. He made his name in Twilight, Harry Potter. He went off and done independent movies with directors he wanted to work with, which were going to make him a better actor. And Elijah's been doing that as well. He had a career before Lord of the Rings. He came into Lord of the Rings, was fucking, don't know what you'd call it, man, catapulted to stardom because he played the great Frodo Baggins. And now he's went off and he's done some lesser fucking scaled projects, if you like. And I think he's became a more rounded and better actor for it. And I would love to see this guy appearing in a Marvel movie. I don't know who he could play. I actually think I had a list, incidentally, now that I think about it. Did I have a list? I did have a list at some point. Oh, I did, I've still got it. Bring this up. This is some potential characters he could play in Marvel. Of course, in Star Wars, it really is an open sandbox in terms of not a huge amount of core material to mine from. It's really getting done on the hop. They're making it up as they go along. And a character could be created for this guy. Maybe Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie, create a character specifically for Elijah and bring him in. He could certainly play a character in Star Wars. I see no reason why not. He could play a bounty hunter. Don't see him really playing a Jedi. He's not really that type of actor for me. I'd like to see him being this more complicated character with a bit of darkness in him. I'd love to see this guy playing a bounty hunter in a Star Wars movie. The fact he's a Star Wars fan, he gets it. That's a large part of the battle. When you're working in Star Wars movies, you need people who actually get it. That's why the Mandalorian's been so fucking good. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni get it. Taika gets it. He's directed and been involved in some of the actual episodes. Robert Rodriguez seems to get it. That's why he's doing a great job on Book of Boba Fett, which incidentally, that's what I fucking sent over to Stephen. It was the Book of Boba Fett and Robert Rodriguez. It always comes to you. So I'd love to see this guy starring in a Star Wars movie as well. And if indeed it's not a Star Wars movie, which is not something I'm actually for when I think about it, I actually prefer the TV content now. I see no reason why he can't play a great character in a Star Wars, an enriching sort of criminal underworld Star Wars TV show. I want to see the guy doing more things. That's what I'm saying. He's a great guy. But in terms of Marvel, this is a list they've sort of compiled that he could potentially play characters that is in an MCU movie. And I'm going to go through them briefly. I'm not going to linger too long on them. The Silver Surfer, now have I thought of anybody for the Silver Surfer? I'm thinking about Adam Warlock, and I think they actually mentioned him at the bottom. He could play the Silver Surfer, but I don't know. Don't know about the Silver Surfer. Moving on. Franklin Richards. Again, he's kind of got that maniacal. He's got that sinister edge to him. He can play a sinister character. Elijah Stephen actually reviewed one, I'm pretty damn sure, where he played this. He's a huge fan of horror, and he's a huge fan of gore. He was speaking about it on Hot Ones. He loved this really obscure sort of horror movie. So he's got that kind of darkness in him. He's got that. He could probably play it. And this character looks fucking maniacal here in the comics. I don't actually know much about him. Oh, it's Mr. Fantastic. It's son of Mr. Fantastic. Of course it is. Of course it fucking is. Because it's Reed Richards, isn't it? Who's the main man in Fantastic Four. Invisible Woman. Franklin Richards possesses one of the highest powers levels in Marvel canon. Codenamed Powerhouse. Franklin is potent being with vast reality, manipulating and psionic abilities. Despite his young age, I think he could play that. They're saying young age though. He is hitting 40 shortly. I think he's a couple of years out of 40. But man, I see no reason why he can't portray characters. He's still kind of youthful and he looks fucking young, about my age, maybe a little bit younger, and he's older than me. The Beyonder, again, I can see it. And as I says, I really want to see this guy playing a darker character. We've seen him playing the wholesome, heroic protagonist. I want to see him playing an antagonist in movies like this and big blockbuster movies. But the only issue with that is it's not got longevity. They have to die after one movie. But look, man, I digress. I can through a lot of lists. Mephisto, could he play the devil in the MCU? I don't know about that, man. I don't know if he's got that in his acting lexicon, if that's even a fucking correct terminology. Don't know about that. And then you go into Adam Warlock at the end. I've really got my heart set in Zac Efron playing Adam Warlock, because he's just an incredible fucking phenom, an incredible physique, and he's got the hair for it. To be frank, Elijah Wood is starting to lose his hair a little bit. There's some recession in there, and recognise that as someone who has experienced it myself. Zac Efron's got an incredible head of hair, the lucky bastard, and he's, as I say, a phenom when it comes to physique. So I've got my heart set in him being Adam Warlock, but whether Kevin Feige's his heart set in Zac Efron being Adam Warlock, really the only guy that fucking counts in all of this, is another thing entirely. What I'm saying is, I'm not adverse to Elijah as a big fan of these franchises myself, and a big fan of this man, I'd love to see him getting a chance to play a character in this. There's a whole array of actors deserve their shot in big movies like this who are fantastic and deserve it. And another example of that is John Cena. No one is more deserving of playing. Speaking about Fantastic Four and the son of Reed Richards, we've got The Thing, and John Cena was asked of potential interest in regards to portraying The Thing, and this is what he had to say. And look, fucking John Cena, what a guy. Bostonian, I believe, played this babyface character that everyone actually hates in the WWE for years. He's got that, I don't know what you'd call it, and that sort of, I don't know, man, he's got a little, I don't know, mischievousness in his personality that he can do that. He can play the good guy, but he also has that little edge as well that he can wind people up. And he's just a naturally funny guy. And of course, as you do get into in this article, he's got that side to him. He can bring the humour, he can bring that edge to the character, but he also has that soft inner core, and he can do the sort of emotive stuff as well in the under the surface, and that's something that's absolutely necessary for The Thing. He's this big, powerful character. He can bring the jokes like a Cog or someone else, like a Drax the Destroyer, but he's a deeply self-conscious guy. He gets looks people hate the way this guy looks, and you need that sort of emotive, I don't know, inner gooiness, if you like, in that character. And I think John Cena could portray it. But look, he was asked about that very thing, and it was in a recent YouTube video for Esquire, and this is what he gave. They're saying he gave a sly answer. I think he just gave a sort of intelligent play on words, sarcastic kind of answer. I've not seen the video, so I can't possibly back that up, but reading it, he's playing on words, and I'm going to read it right now. I would consider most anything. I think keeping yourself open to options and different perspectives is a good way to go about life. This would simply be a thing that I would consider, because I like to keep my perspective open to new things. You see what he did there? He was asked about portraying Marvel's Thing, and he went on to use thing, I think 3 times. He's a smart man, is John. He can speak fucking, was it Mandarin? He can speak it. And it's a very hard fucking language to speak. Let me tell you, if you're from a Western sphere, try to learn the little nuanced pronunciations of Mandarin and just the fucking craziness of those languages. It ain't easy, man. So the guy's obviously a very intelligent man, and we know that he can play a multitude of characters, because we've seen it in the Suicide Squad when he actually played, and I'm blanking on his name now, which is terrible. I fucking love the character. Terrible. But he was a brilliant performance in that. One of the standouts for me, alongside the likes of Ratcatcher 2, and of course Harley Quinn, who's always in there, always giving performances. I just thought he was one of the more compelling characters. The fact that he had this insane dedication to freedom, and there's a name for it again, I'm blanking on the name, another name for freedom that he uses in the actual movie, so much so that he'll do anything to uphold that freedom. What was it again? What the fuck was it again? Peacemaker. Because they ask him at one point, why are you called Peacemaker when you're such a violent guy? Because I'll do anything to get it. I'll keep it. So he was a compelling character, and that was an example again of what he can do. But as it says in that article, I'm not actually going to go back to the article and read it. He is capable, without repeating myself, of doing that sort of fragility in a character, and that's something that's necessary for The Thing. I don't know how they're going to cast the Fantastic Four. I do think it's coming, and I think it's coming in the next 5-6 years. Because we've had the likes of Anthony or Joe Russo coming out and saying there is a definitive Fantastic Four movie to come, and it will be Kevin Feige's grubby mitts that will be all over it, and I'm glad of that. So I think it is coming, and it's going to be so intriguing to see who they cast. I can't think of another actor out there who could play The Thing, who's got that brute physicality, who's got that brilliant funniness, who's got that sharpness of a mind, and who's also got that ability to portray fragility in the human condition, all in that one nice little package. Big package in this case. I think he's 6'2". I can't think of a better actor. I would fucking cast John Cena as The Thing. I hope he plays it. And he's also doing a Peacemaker spin-off, so it'd be great again to just connect to DC and the Marvel stuff and wind up those tribalistic little bitches who entrench themselves. I'm a Marvel fan. I hate DC. I'm a DC fan. I fucking hate Marvel. See these fuckers, man. Go and get a fucking life, bitch. Enjoy the two. But look, I digress. I'm moving on to the next topic on that note. Hopefully it happens. Speaking of DC, because it's all been Marvel so far. Going over to DC, and more specifically in regards to their online streaming expo, convention if you like. It's not an expo, convention. A convention that was very good to us last year, it has to be said. We reacted to a number of trailers coming out of that. Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Batman, Suicide Squad sort of character introduction trailers. All did very well, all get thousands of views. The Batman one got 50,000-60,000 views and fucking exploded very quickly overnight. So it was a really, really good time for us, that original DC fandom. But as an aside to that, as an aside to the sort of selfish, narcissistic view on it, it was just a well put together convention. In the midst of COVID, they couldn't do a Comic-Con, so they had to take it online, and they had a lot of stuff to showcase, and I thought they'd done a brilliant job of implementing sizzle reels and lovely little trailers with insight from the actual people involved in the movies, directors, producers, everyone really, getting them all together, and just giving us historic looks at things as well. I sat and watched it for hours on end, giving us historic looks, giving us looks at comics related stuff, at animated stuff. It was a really slick production, and I says at the time, I don't think DC or Marvel will ever fully reintegrate back into the Comic-Con machine. I think they were naturally stepping away from that anyway. They're that big, they've got that sort of cliquey sort of nature, they've got their own amazing portfolio of movies, of franchises. They don't need Comic-Con. Yes, it's a hyped event, you've got the whole hate stuff, it's fucking incredible to watch, but they can fill out their own convention with D23, I think it is, and with DC fandom, and obviously just now remotely do it. And I thought they would continue this, and they are continuing it, and I think they'll continue it, even if it's biannually. Don't have to do it every fucking year. And I'm so glad to see they're doing it again. But what I digress, I think they've actually released lineups. It's been a while since I've said I digress, by the way. That used to be a fun fixture in my sort of vocabulary in the early days of doing shows. I digress to the point where I was going to get an I digress t-shirt. And I'm glad I didn't, because that would have been incredibly fucking stupid. But yeah, I think they've released a lineup of what we can expect. It's coming this October, and it is going to be an online-only event, and I'm hoping they're going to give us some of the information in regards to what we actually... Hopefully they are going to give us it, because it'd be fucking shit if they didn't. Yada yada yada, let's have a little look. Saturday, October 16th. It's a Saturday, that's great for us. Again, if they release it at a good time, we can actually fucking react to things and maybe have a chance of getting in ahead of the other fucking piranhas. As you can see here, incredible poster. And we're going to click on that poster. We're going to go into Twitter here. A risky business, to say the least. Don't know what the fuck you've got opened in Twitter. We'll try and zoom in. And as you can see here, I can't really see much here because I am as blind as a fucking bat. But that does look like, perhaps, I don't know, is that Brandon Routh? You've got Jason Momoa as Aquaman. You've got Shazam. I'm fucking blanking on the names here. Unbelievable. You've got a lot going on in there, that's what I'm saying. People after teaser. Where is Toby? Toby, oh darling, you're going to cry. I'm going to put some dirt in your eye. Look, Toby will be in there. I'm absolutely fucking certain Toby will be in that movie. It'll be an abomination to a multiverse story involving Spider-Man if you don't put the great Tobey Maguire back in as Peter Parker. If you don't put the equally great Andrew Garfield in as his Peter Parker and give them a nice bit of closure. Give them a chance to see out their time as those characters in a more fulfilling manner, because they didn't get to do it, and it's just a nice little plot device to put them in there and mature Tom Holland's version of the character and pass some pearls of fucking wisdom over to them. Really looking forward to it, man. But I swear to Toby and Andrew not in this movie. Oh, they fucking better be, man. They better be. I will be. Hell have no fury if they are not in this movie. I took it bad when Stephen Strange wasn't in WandaVision, and I was convinced he was. That would be like a fucking pebble in a teacup. I don't know, fucking a storm in a teacup compared to the fucking 2000 and I don't know what it was, fucking tsunami in Boxing Day a couple of years back. That's what it'd be like if they weren't in the movie. I would be fucking fuming, man. Well, I digress. You can see there they've got this lineup. They're going to be showcasing the Batman. They're going to be showcasing Black Adam. They're going to be showcasing Aquaman 2. There's going to be an incredible amount of content releasing in this online fucking convention, and it's going to be slick as hell again, and it's something DC need to do. They need to have their own space to air their own content. They can't be stuffy and stuck in Comic-Con for forever. They need to do it. Disney already do it. It's a good way to get your stuff out in a more propaganda-like, polished product. Fucking bring it out. Inject it into my veins. I can react to some of the stuff with Steven, and we can, yeah, just enjoy it. If Toby be in the movie, Marvel killed Tom's character, new Spider-Man generation, because everyone just focused on Toby. They'd be as well, to be honest with you. I've said it time and again, I enjoy Tom Holland's Spider-Man, I do. He's an alright Spider-Man, but I have my niggles with him. My niggles being he's too immature, he's this school kid, and he's fucking annoying at times. With the fact that he just doesn't just grow up and get on with it and be an adult. Oh, poo-hoo. Oh, Tony Stark's left me. Oh, what am I going to do? Stand on your own 2 feet, bitch. You're one of the strongest fucking Marvel characters in the comics. Stand on your own 2 feet. Show some fucking scruples and get on with it. You don't need that with Tobey Maguire, and that's why ultimately for me, Tobey Maguire is still my favourite Peter Parker and still my favourite Spider-Man. He was in the best Spider-Man movies. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 are the 2 greatest Spider-Man movies ever put out. And for me, that was down to Tobey Maguire. It was down to the likes of William Dafoe and Alfred Molina. You bring that all together in this movie, and you better bring it together. You're bringing fucking Molina back. You're bringing back William Dafoe's Green Goblin. Why wouldn't you bring back Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man? It would make no sense. It would be fucking thick. And I'm utterly convinced when Doc Ock comes out and he says hello Peter, he ain't speaking to Tom Holland, he's speaking to Tobey Maguire. It better be. Really looking forward to that movie, man. I'm telling you, it's my most anticipated movie of this year. It's actually edged out June now. That's how much. I heard something there, I think it was my headphones saying back to the wall. Fucking always flat. Don't ever buy these fucking headphones, by the way. These Corsair fucking virtuoso headphones. Lovely headphones. Very, very nice. But perpetually fucking flat. And not worth whatever the fuck I pay for them, £160 or something. Something in that range. Really looking forward to this movie, man. It's actually beating out No Time to Die in June. So that tells you how much I'm looking forward to it. There's some big fucking releases coming out this year. Halloween's coming out. Halloween Kills coming up. We're going to get into this topic in a minute. 100% because Toby was true Spider-Man. Everyone living with this movie. Spider-Man 2, 3. Exactly, I grew up with it, man. I am 32 currently, so when those movies came out, I would have been 13. And I would have been, what was 2002, I think, the first one. 13, I'd have been 16. When the second one came out, so I was the primary demographic. I had the games, everything. Fucking loved it. You on Twitch now or just YouTube? We're on both. We're on Twitch as well. We restream to Twitch. We don't have enough audience on Twitch. We get the odd raid and stuff like that, but not got a fucking scoop what we're doing on Twitch. We've not got a fucking clue. We've not got a clue what we're doing. I have to set up all the alerts and stuff like that. I watch a lot of people on Twitch. Not got a fucking clue what I'm doing on Twitch, but we are on Twitch as well. But we don't do anything specific for Twitch. It's just a restream of this. It's the same fucking stream posted up. So we'll address that once we start getting viewers, bigger viewers on Twitch, getting bigger followers, hopefully, at some point. Fuck knows when that will happen. We'll do more Twitch catered stuff. I'm absolutely certain of it. But wait, man, this topic, I'm going to end the show with this, man, because I just thought it was heartwarming seeing the great Donnie Yen speaking very nicely about Keanu Reeves, a man who I've appreciated for a long time, since the likes of Speed and Constantine and things like that. I never really watched Bill and Ted. That was before my time. But what I'm saying is I respect Keanu Reeves, and I also respect Donnie Yen for what he's done in an array of amazing movies. Ip Man and stuff like that being the main ones, but also Rogue One as well. I am one with the Force is with me. Great performance. This is what I had to say. He's actually working on the set of John Wick 4 just now. And of course, when you're on the set of John Wick 4, it's very hard to fucking miss Keanu Reeves. He is John Wick. He is the movie. And this is what I had to say about the man's presence. About working with Chad Stahelski, an equally great man incidentally. An incredible fucking director. A master of action. I have to take this opportunity to express my utmost appreciation for Chad and Keanu. They are just lovely men and gentlemen. They've got a big heart. Keanu's got a good soul, a good man. Chad is also a very good man, very knowledgeable. People think of him as a brilliant action guy. He's not just that. He understands films. He's a film librarian. He knows what's going on. I'm having the best time working with him in this movie, more than any of my previous Hollywood movies, so I wanted to express my appreciation. Nice to see that he's speaking about Chad Stahelski, saying he's seen as this action guy, and he's a fucking great action guy, and people sometimes look down their noses at action and think, it's just an action movie, it's crap. There's a lot of work and dedication goes into an action movie as well, and if you look at what Christopher McQuarrie's doing with those Mission Impossible movies, you can see what you can accomplish in action movies. You can do a lot. You can make it nuanced, you can make it emotive, you can make it a human condition study. You can do a lot with an action movie. Just because it's action and it's slick doesn't mean it's popcorn flair. A sort of flick, it's a popcorn affair. So, nice to see he's showing appreciation for Chaddy's ability to create great action, but not just that, revealing his actual intellect, his knowledge of movies. He's a librarian, a cinematic librarian. And we've seen that with a whole host of people you wouldn't expect, to be quite frank. We've seen that with, I mean, Nick Cage is an obvious one. People look down their noses at that guy. I spoke about that earlier. But the guy's, he's a Coppola. And he's got an unbelievable knowledge in film. And I'm sure there's other ones I can't think about. There is, I know for a fact there is. There is guys out there who have got fucking limitless knowledge in movies. Tarantino's the one, the obvious one. But you expect that. He is a fucking real, studier of film. But just nice to see you speaking about these guys. He's showing his appreciation for being on this. Not that he has to show appreciation for being on the set of John Wick fucking 4. He deserves to be there. An absolute god amongst men. But nice to see that he's reiterating what we already know, that Keanu is a great man, a good man. That what you see on the screen, what you see in the press junkets is what you get off the screen as well. He drives about on his bike. A simple man, but not a daft man. And a great man. I'm going to end the show on that note, man, because I'm gibbering. What's your thoughts on the topics I've touched upon on this show today, tonight, tomorrow, wherever the fuck you are? There's people already into tomorrow. It's that late here. It's actually tomorrow here. I started the show the previous day. What do you make about Spider-Man No Way Home? What's this? I don't know what this is. What do you make about that runtime? 150 minutes long, 2.5 hours. Do you think that's ample to study a multiverse storyline with 6 villains and potentially 3 Spider-Man characters? I think it's perfect. It's a sweet spot between studying it and not overstaying your welcome. What is your thoughts on Elijah Wood speaking about Star Wars and Marvel and potentially starring those movies? What the fuck do you make about the other topics I've touched on? I'm going to bring them up just now. John Cena potentially playing the Thing in the MCU, and finally Donnie Yen showing some appreciation and DC fandom happening again this year. If you've got anything to say about any of those topics, you can comment down below, share your thoughts down in the comment section. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and hit the follow button over on Twitch if you want to see more content like this in the future. And that's how you enable it to happen and reach your eyeballs. But look, until then, I am done. Bye bye. Thank you very much for the comments. Catch you after.